Hey guys, welcome back to the garage with the Honda Africa Twin 1100. Today we're going to install a set of OEM Honda Heated Grips. The time to go on a long trip is coming around and I'd rather have them and not use them than need it and not have it. So enough with the chit chat, let's get on it. As always, I'm going to follow the Honda instructions step by step. And to save time, I already removed the seat and the toolbox from the left side to have access to the battery, because the Honda instruction require you to disconnect the negative on the battery. We're gonna start removing all the fairings that Honda wants you to remove. Now, this is not a complicated job, but it's just slightly more complicated than removing a toolbox. So toolbox, you guys are on your own. When it comes to the fairing, let's go step by step. We're gonna remove, first of all, 4 Allen from the top over here, and then there are 2 push pins on the inside. My bike has 2, some bikes have 4 with the other 2 towards the gas cap over here. And then after that, 2 more push pin down in the wheel well. Let's start removing those. Here we go, all 4 are gone. When it comes to the push pin, there is a technique. You need a pick like this with a right angle. You go in here and you just push in until you hear that click and then pull out. Down here on both sides. When it's time to remove this, you gotta be delicate. Pop this one first, and then there is like a pressure down and out. Like that. Push down and out. Once you do that, there is a tab right here, so you gotta be careful, and a tab up front. Nice and easy. It's always a pain to do this. Like that, push down and up. So then down and out. Here it goes. And that's it. Set it aside. To remove the cowl, simple enough. There are a few pop-ups. So one up here, it pops like this. There is one down here. Same thing, be delicate with it. That's it. Once you pop this one, you just need to pop the front by squeezing it and then push forward and back out. Even with the crush bars on, it's doable. There you go. One is removed. This one is very simple. There is a 5mm Allen over here, and there is one over here. So let's start with this one. Once you remove the 2 Allen keys, there is some Velcro in here, so just in a pop-up. So pop and Velcro and pop-up as well. So one pop-up, another pop-up, and 2 pieces of Velcro, and you have this removed. Do the same thing on the other side. Honda's instruction also call at this point to remove the inner cover from the back over here. I'm not quite gonna do that. I've moved the tank multiple times, never really needed to remove this. Now, for spacing's sake, I am going to remove the plastic covers up front, but easy enough. One, 2. Also, to remove the tank, there is this big bolt in the middle that needs to be removed. It's a 10mm. It's getting kind of hot, so jacket goes away as well. At this point, Honda wants you to pull the tank back and out There are rubber cushion thingies in there. The Honda wants you to put the clamps from the tank out of those and on top. So I'm gonna try to do just that. Go back. Always a pain in the ass. There you go, just like that. And then what Honda wants you to do is to put this back in the hole and put the bolt back on it. The only way you know that you've done it properly is if you pull back and you feel it go on top of where it was sitting in, and then the little center bolt here goes back into it at a slight angle. That's it. There is one more thing to remove, and it's the hand guard over here. Simple enough, 8mm on the side over here, and off it comes. Okay, and then a 5 up front. There we go. Do the same thing on the other side. We're finally getting on to the good stuff. It's time to remove the grip on the left side. Simple enough. Honda says to spray alcohol inside and slide it out. I'm gonna use air, see how that goes. And that's it. Once you remove it, it's time to clean this glue of the handlebar. Same thing, Honda says, alcohol on it and elbow grease. Let's give it a try. It's not even close to do anything. Time for some Goo Gone, which I like the product. I don't like to have it on my hands, and I put this on the wrong end. So, glove on. Well, Goo Gone did nothing but get everywhere, so that's annoying. It's slick, it's not tacky, it's gonna stay. All right, next step is to loosen the 2 bolts for the clutch. Just a little bit. And move the clutch slightly aside. And then in the back there are 2 screws over here, and you just undo them. Here we go. And it's time to crack open this thing. Sounds so bad. It's time to install the heated grip. One thing you need to do is align this line. Let's see, I gotta put it like this. Yep. This line over here that goes along the grip, you're gonna see it clearly once you have this in your hand. You gotta align that with the piece of plastic of the turn signal block. There is a hole on that big block that this thing is gonna go inside. The wire is gonna go in there. Next thing is grip glue. This is Pro Grip. I have it laying around. Honda says Honda grip glue or better or equivalent, I guess. This is it. They also tell you to use alcohol again to slide this one in and out, but I think the grip glue will do a good job on its own in making me slide this in. Time to put the glue on, and finger crossed. I really don't like to work with glue, but I guess there's nothing I can do about it. There you go. It looks like it's aligned. Let's route this thing through. Run it through for now, just very loosely. First thing to do is to remove the dummy plug. It comes better if you do it from below. There you go. Dummy plug, put it aside, you never know. And then it's time to plug in the heated grip. Same thing from below. All right. Now at this point you're pretty much done. You need to put a zip tied, which is provided where the white line is. Then run it through those two and down through the cable tie down there. Run it as you wish. Make sure that when you move the handlebar it doesn't catch on anything. And that's it. We're done with the left hand side, so we can move on to the right side. First thing to do is loosen up the front brake over here. And at this point I gotta open this up and we're gonna need a screwdriver. On this side you really have to play with the brake over here, because you gotta move it and put your screwdriver in there. Crack these open. And again, when I say crack, I don't mean crack. There's one screw on the inside. You gotta push this side of the case forward and slide the grip out. It is time to pull out the right grip. One thing to do is on the inside, right there, and then right there, and then down here, and then down here. You gotta put some grease in there. Apply it on those tabs. The bike being in outstanding shape, there is still some lithium from Honda, some grease from Honda still over there. There are two things we gotta do, and is mark, in Honda's fashion, a few distances on the wire. 365 millimeters from here, and the next one is 590. So once you marked it, it's time to slide it in place. Slide it in place. There you go. With the line pointing down, and at this point, slide the housing. Did you guys hear that sound? Let's listen again. The housing. That double ping, that little ting ting sound, it's 3 hours of my life that I'll never get back. The little screw inside the block fell and ended up somewhere around the engine portion. 3 hours had gone by, I was able to find it. I did have to remove the fuel tank, the airbox, the skid plate. So I put the airbox back on. Next look at the bike is gonna have no fuel tank. I'm gonna keep it without the fuel tank because just in case some other screw falls down there. So this is the little screw that fell and took me 3 hours to find. We're gonna put it back where it belongs. Now we're gonna close these up. Now the other two screws from the back. At this point, when this is tight, make sure that the throttle opens up and closes normal. No binding, no grinding, just nice and easy. And you can tie those for the front brake. We gotta start routing the wire. First thing to do, they give you this little bracket. Hopefully it's not another 3 hours of my life. No, that is it. So this little bracket goes up front over here. There is a little screw that we're gonna undo. It goes like this. It's very simple, very intuitive. And then you put that screw back on it. The cable comes with this clip over here. You just go on and clip it like this. There you go. Now, this is pretty much done. So what you want to do is make sure that you have enough slack to be able to open and close the throttle like this. And it does. So we're good. And we can move on and start routing the rest of this 2-3 foot long cable wherever it needs to go. You have to run the wire here with the rest of the wires, and at the end of the 2 little wires that come out the brake switch, you gotta put a zip tie. So simple enough, I guess. Before you keep going, you gotta remove the clip from the end. Push down and pull this out. By removing this, it's easier to route this all the way, because this thing needs to go all the way in there. Route up front and down in there. Come on to this side, and we gotta unplug or pull out this thing. Once you have the boot out, you can see this needs to be removed from the clip. There it is, right there. And this is the plug you need. Remove the dummy plug from it. There you go, dummy plug removed. Back up here one more time, undo the clip over here, clip number 1, so I can run the wire in it. Clip number 2 over here. Now it's time to undo the clip over here from the back. As always, once you guys remove this clip, you gotta mark it down. Let's put it up here. Once you mark it down, it's time to cut it off. There you go. Honda provides a new clip, and put it exactly where the other one was, and reinsert it into that over there. Now we gotta go underneath the bike. We gotta remove this clip over here. There you go. Honda calls for the removal of that bolt right there. That bolt right there. Just like before, you gotta mark where that thing is, then cut it off. There you go. Once you cut it off, it's time to get this thing off. In classic Honda fashion, they give you a new rubber grommet. You gotta put electrical tape around the wires and then put the rubber grommet on top and continue with the electrical wire to do this. And this is what it looks like. It comes down, goes over there. I had to remove that bolt over there because you gotta go behind the brake line over here. So behind the brake line, and then in there until you pop up on this side. It's time to start plugging in. So you have the plug that comes from the bike right here. You get the plug you just ran, and you click them together. Then you see the brown clip in the back right there. Click it on the brown plug. Once you have that plugged in, it's time to put the boot back where it belongs. So back in there. And that's about it. If you follow all the steps, you know it's time to put the handguard back on. The only thing we need to do now is to program the heated grips. Time to jump the maintenance plug. I'll put in the description the link for an SCS maintenance plug. I think it's $5 or something like that. So if you don't feel confident on to jump in the SCS plug, you can actually buy the actual maintenance plug. If you do, when you look inside the SCS plug, there is a red line with 3 holes. You gotta jump the 2 outside holes on the red line. Once you've done that, time to turn the ignition on, but with the engine stop into stop. Also, like me, don't forget to put the negative back on the battery, because otherwise nothing happens when you turn the key on. Turn on the ignition, go to settings by pulling and holding, scroll down, settings, select, down to service, select, down to equipment, select, heated grips, select on, exit, 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 turn off the ignition switch, like that. Remove the jump from the SCS connector, put the cover back in and tuck it where it belongs in there. At this point, I'm gonna turn on the bike and test to make sure that they work. The OEM heated grip have been installed, we are done for the day, and I like it. I like it a lot. Why I chose the OEM? Because I can actually control them through the controls on the bike itself. As you guys have seen when I tested it, on the top right side of the screen there is a little icon for the heated grips that shows how strong the heat is. And then by pushing the function button on the right hand side, I can access either the volume for my Bluetooth or the level of the heated grips and adjust it as I please. The installation is not that complicated. There are a lot of steps in classic Honda's fashion. Once you're done, the parts you should be left with is 2, obviously, grips, the old ones, 2 dummy plugs, obviously, because 1 per side, 1 brown clip that we removed from the brand new heated grips, but I reused the one that was already on the bike. It was good, so I'll keep this in case one of those clips one day will break, and 1 of those little rubber boots that was around the cables down there. The cable have been routed in OEM fashion. As a matter of fact, you can't tell that there is anything added on to the bike. And I like it. I like it quite a bit. They get warm quick. Now it's gonna take me time to figure out the different level of adjustment, but living in Southern California, most likely I will not have the problem that most people seem to have with the OEM. Most people seem to think that the OEM are not strong enough, they're not warm enough, but I'll be okay with the proper gloves and those on. It'll be great. For everything I used in this video, check the description down below. Thank you very much to my patrons, you guys are the best as always. I'm able to do this because you guys help out. Other than that, dai tutti, and I'll see you next time.